everybody here. To my left is Vish Pot from Snack Bar in Oxford. We have Mirwan Irani from Chai Pani, Botivala, Buxton Hall, MG Road, Spicewalla. We'll be here all day. Asha Gomez from Atlanta, Georgia. Author, badass, newly developing photographer, and all-around amazing person. Monique Chauhan from Chauhan Ale House, and the new Chatwalla. Chattable. Sorry. I didn't know I was going to have to do this, so apologies. I'm not prepared at all. And last but not least, our moderator for today, John T. Edge, the director of the Southern Foodways Alliance, who barely made it, but he's here. Thank you.
All right, so we are here to talk about Brown in the South. We're here to talk about that idea. And I want to begin by saying a thanks to this crowd. The Southern Foodways Alliance, which has now been doing its work since 1999, has long attempted to bridge difference and use food as a way to do that. And we've done it fitfully. We've tried really hard. But I think one of the best realizations of that possibility has come out of Brown in the South. And I'm really proud to be on stage. I'm humbled to be on stage. We also, as an organization, benefit from this financially. And I want to tell y'all the ways in which we're trying to give back. And then I'm going to get the heck out of the way. If you go to our website, southernfoodways.org, you can read a great essay by Nabin Ruthnam about curry as a metaphor for colonialism and the like. Nabin's a fine writer from Toronto, thinking about some of the same issues that these good folks do. If you go to our website in a few months, you'll read a great essay to come by Priya Krishna, who's going to write about Indian peoples in Dallas, her hometown. Soon there'll be films and oral histories on our website as well from Northwest Arkansas. You may know Northwest Arkansas is the home of Walmart and Tyson Foods, big, bulging corporations. Those corporations have attracted many people of the Indian diaspora to Northwest Arkansas. That means in Bentonville there are at least 7 Indian restaurants. And you also find in Bentonville the headquarters of USA Cricket, which is looking to take down baseball. It's a fascinating place, and by way of the support of this event, by way of the Southern Foodways Alliance's genuine interest in an evolving South, we thank you for being here today, and I thank this group for seeing the possibilities in our organization and convening to our benefit. So thank you. I have questions, and these good folks know the questions, so they're not going to come as a surprise. It's not a gotcha. The first question, I'll pose it to Vish or Mirwan, who can lead to claim it. And it's just, tell me a story, set me a scene, show me a moment that describes what it means to be brown in the South.
That was it.
That's what it feels like, people. That's what it is like. It's a groan, a long, extended groan.
Maybe the story would be the founding story, if you will. All great stories have a founding moment, and that moment was at the Southern Foodways Alliance Symposium. It was the first time I'd been to one, and my sort of supposition before I even went there was that, why am I going? This is a Southern thing. It's about the South. I'm a transplant to the South. I'm not sure what I'm going to get from going there. But Vish was there in Oxford, Mississippi, so at the very least I said I'll get to hang out with my good friend Vish and lean on him to help guide me through what this thing is. And the symposium was, as John T. described it, about the cultural evolution of the South, and it happened to be that particular one about the Latin South. So I looked at Vish at one point and said, Vish, do you think of yourself as an Indian first that happens to live in the South, or do you think of yourself as a Southerner that happens to be of Indian origin? And he said, I'm a Southerner. And that shocked me. And that shocked me, because I never thought of it that way. I kept thinking of myself as an Indian first that happened to live in the South. And the question that arose was, well, when does that transformation happen? When do I can say, looking the way I do, I'm a Southerner, and people not be surprised? So that's the story of what it means to me to be brown in the South, and I'll say I think it's a very personal feature of us. We don't have a communal feeling of being brown in the South.
It's a beautiful story. Vish, when we were walking into this room, I asked you about your book. Vish has begun work on a book. It's too early to talk about it, but here we are on stage. And I asked him, have you settled on a title? Because we texted back and forth the other day, and he was trying titles out on me, and I suggested one, and he came back with a better version. But he's come up with one that speaks very much to what Mirwan is talking about, and it's brilliant and beautiful. Tell us.
So the book is going to be called I Am From Here. And it's that simple. I am from here. I have made my home here. This is where I have decided to be. And that doesn't mean that there aren't issues and that there aren't difficulties sometimes. But that's anywhere. Some of these social issues that we talk about in the South are also social issues that I grew up with in Gujarat. Issues of class and discrimination, and some people having seats at the table and some not, and people that have seats at the table trying to keep the ones that don't have seats away, or sort of representing them as sort of, well, yeah, we made room for you, just sit here, but not giving them an actual voice. And so this is sort of, a little off track. The title of the book is I'm From Here.
I love that. You're from a lot of here's in the South. Yes. You've claimed a number of places. Tell this crowd who might not know.
My southern journey started in Austin, Texas, and somebody might say that's not really southern. And then I moved, and then I moved to Kentucky, Bowling Green for a little bit, and then Lexington, and then from there to Mississippi, where there was no doubt that's the South. I wanted to make sure people understood that I am from Mississippi. That is my home state. That is where we're trying to make changes, slowly but surely. We just had some good news last week. The University of Mississippi finally decided to move the Confederate statue out of the main circle into actually the Confederate cemetery. And that doesn't seem like a very big deal when you just say it here, but it is a huge deal where we live. And we're working on the flag as well. Hopefully that's another battle that we'll put to rest very soon.
It's beautiful. That's being led by students too, which makes it even more powerful. Asha, I would like you to answer the same question, if you would please, by talking about a scene, a moment. But before you do that, we should recognize that in Asha's introduction was not mentioned that Asha has the coolest kid on the planet with her, Ethan, who is back there somewhere. There he is. So meet him before your time in this basement is over. Asha, tell us a story from a place, a time.
So I wrote a cookbook called My Two Souths. I claim both these Souths very dearly as my own. The South of India and the American South that I've now called home for close to 2 decades, For me, I think, when I wake up in the morning, truth be told, I'm thinking of buttermilk biscuits. My buttermilk biscuits might have Talasherry pepper in it and smothered with gravy, not necessarily, dosas. So my sensibility is very much that of the American South, and my kid knows no other place as home but these United States of America, and so he gets asked a lot as a brown kid all the time where he's from, and it's a little jarring for him because it's like, what do you mean? This is where I'm from. This is home. This is my home, and so. For me, I'm hoping that in conversations like this, the narrative will change for him, right? He is not asked where he's from, that this is his home, and it's not a question that's posed to him. as we move forward in these conversations.
I want that for him, and I want that for the South.
Yeah. So yes, that's, I have loved calling this place my home. I lived in New York for very many years, and I always say, I lived in Michigan, I lived in New York, and it's only when I walked into Georgia when I truly felt a kinship, and I felt like it was home. It was the first time, I've been in this country for 30 years, but the South has always just felt like home, more so than Kerala. I just came back from visiting my mother, and you have those moments, right? You're sitting, when you first come as an immigrant, you're like, I'm going home, you're getting on a flight, you're going home, and then one day you wake up and you have this aha moment when you're coming back, and you're like, wow, I'm going home, and home is this, where we are.
If you follow Asha on Instagram, and you should, there's a link on her Instagram profile right now which takes you to an essay that the Atlanta Journal-Constitution published about this very idea. It's a moving essay. I'd recommend reading it if you can. I think I stepped on your applause, though. Would you answer next?
The moment when y'all became a permanent feature in my vocabulary, I think that's the time. I am a fairly new Southerner. I've been in Nashville for, I think, 5 years. And, as Asha was saying, I was in New York. And I get a call from, the middle of nowhere that, hey, would you like to open something in Nashville? And my first reaction was, who the beep goes to Nashville? Because I had never been there. And I'm like, okay. But going to Nashville was like arriving home. There was something so inviting about the city, not only in terms of the people or the soul of, like, it was truly arriving, home. But it was also, the opportunities that the city afforded, and I think that is, that's the reason. And then I always say that Nashville chose me, as opposed to me choosing Nashville. I think that's what, the South does. It owns you, it embraces you, and you never want to leave.
And what's the signal of that? You saying Nashville chose you. Like, what did you hear? What did you see? What did you smell that told you that Nashville chose you?
My son decided to be born 3 months early. That was a sign big enough. He's like, I'm going to be a Nashvilleian, I'm not moving from here. So that was a big sign, yeah.
It's a very good answer.
And we named him Karma.